What's up, guys? Anthony Monetti here. It's still transition week, but we're going to do a Thanksgiving edition. Believe in yourself, trust the process, practice patience. 3. Well, I'm going to say 3. No, 3 is going to be the clap. 1, 2, boom. Got it? All right. 1, 2. Perfect. All right, rocking and rolling. Transition week. Your mobility exercise is an alternating sit to kneel. So we're going to start in this position here. You're going to bring one knee in, and then whip that other hip around so you're square with one side, okay? To get back, pull the hips back, switch your legs, rinse and repeat on the other side, okay? Pull back, rinse and repeat, other side. Can you use your hand to begin? Absolutely. Hand goes back for a little bit of support, push back up on this side. Cool? 50-10, 40-20, 30-30, 20-40, and then we're going to revisit it for our second half of our mobility. Or warm-up, I should say. Got it? Easy breathing? Alright, so your first half of your warm-up is going to be a wall sit. Every day it's been a hold for that first exercise, and you're going to snug yourself up against the wall, try to tuck that butt underneath so that lower back is smashed. When I say butt, it's really your hips, right? So you're kind of tucking it underneath to flatten that lower back. Feet obviously planted firmly into the floor, pressing through all 4 corners of your feet. Toes, heels, and you're in a 90-degree position. Simple stuff, right? I always try to get more upper body and posture work out of it, so I just rotate my shoulders back, and I'm holding anywhere from 45 to 60 seconds. You guys should all be doing 60. After that 60 second, and you can do a mid-squat hold as well, and just kind of hold that mid-squat position if you don't have a wall or you don't want to do the wall sit. Either one work. But that second exercise, a little bit more mobility. It's a hurdle step. So think about stepping over. Yesterday we did lateral step overs, right, for the hips, side to side. Now we're going to go forward. Think about just tapping the heel on an imaginary line, pulling up, and then back through. Now, I don't have a line here. Folks at home may or may not have something to step over. You guys here can make something, right? You had PVC yesterday. We can put a band with which we have done before. But the goal is to keep your hips square, shoulder square, pull the hips up. See how my hip, knee, and ankle are kind of almost in a similar plane of motion, right? So if I have to kind of compensate to get that over, it just tells me that I got a little bit of tightness. And also maybe this step is too high, right? But shoulders are square, hips are square. Keep the hip, knee, ankle in a perfect line, or as perfect as possible. Tap the heel, and then pull back up and around. And then alternate. Okay? One side may be a little bit difficult, or maybe a little more challenging than the other, just because you have tightness in one side more than the other. Does that make sense? So that's your 4 rounds. You guys are going to work at your own pace. Whatever you're using, you want something about knee height. About knee height. Okay, so if you want to put the bands across there, which we've done in the past, or use an imaginary line, use a mirror, whatever you got to do. 4 rounds. 1, 2. Love that. All right, cool. Here we go. Revisiting what we did earlier, alternating sit to kneel. I don't have to go through that again, do I? You guys know what you're doing with that? You may be a little bit more mobile this time. That may be something to pay attention to. And a Cossack lunge is a lateral lunge, but with mobility. So you want to rotate that opposite hip outward. So the toe faces up, keep your hips low, chest low, rotate out. Literally this to this changes up the exercise from a regular lateral lunge to a Cossack lunge, and it intensifies the stretch and mobility, potentially, in your inner thigh and adductors. Okay, so that's going to be your second exercise. We're going to get like 3 to 5 in each. So you're not going to get that many in, but take your time with it. See if you can get at least 2 to 3 in, especially when the rest period shrinks. You're not going to get as much in. Do the clap on my own this time. All right, here we go. So, do you want a little Thanksgiving special?
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
All right, cool. So,
Delicious?
it's yeah. I mean, yes. This is delicious. Good hard work is delicious. We're going to keep to the concept, but I thought this morning we can spice it up a little bit because it is Thanksgiving. So here's what I'm thinking. We keep the concepts, we keep the exercises, but we make it a chipper.
Oh.
And I bump up the reps. And then every 2 minutes on the minute, you do your breathing box drill. Okay, so now your heart rate is really going to be elevated, and we're going to test that box drill method or that box breathing method even more so. So you're going to chip away at it. So I figured reps we can keep are 45 reverse lunges, 81 straight leg sit-ups, and 99 kettlebell swings. And you're going to chip away at it. I'll write it down on the board so we can keep track. And that's what I came up with this morning. Notice how they all equal 9. That's my favorite number.
I noticed that.
Even 9 plus 9 is what? 8 plus 1 is 9. Boom! Alright, so chip away at it. I'm going to stop you every 2 minutes on the minute, and we're going to work on that box breathing method. Make sense? Alright, so reverse lunges. Instead of just doing a regular reverse lunge, which you could do, right? The idea of this particular exercise being on today's workout was for reverse lunge and right to balance. So you're pulling those hips back and then right to balance. That works. It's Thanksgiving. If you want to spice it up, you can go overhead. Here, reverse lunge, right to balance. Is that going to be more difficult? Absolutely. But it's just giving a little different dynamic. You can hold the weights here for a little bit more spice. Either one, choose which one you're doing, but I do want you to do one side at a time, and then we're going to alternate.
So it's 45 each.
45 each. Yes. Bless you, bless you. So that's 45 each on those. Next up, 81 straight leg sit-ups. Simple stuff, starting with a straight supine position. Big exhale on the way up. Tuck your chin down. Reach, and then one vertebrae at a time on the way down. You don't have to go that slow, but I'm trying to exaggerate because I don't want to see this. See that a lot. Try to get that core nice and tight and roll down one vertebrae at a time. Okay, 81 of those. And then kettlebell swings. What's the primary mover in a kettlebell swing? Glutes. Perfect. Hips. Who's at hips? Perfect. Hips and glutes. You'll hear me say hips and glutes. What I mean by that is hips, right? So you're pulling your hips back, folding over at your waist. Now all that weight is back here in your hamstrings and glutes. And then what happens? Boom, now you're contracting your glutes, getting that weight to travel forward. But when that weight's traveling forward, you don't want to keep on going and let that weight travel and take you away from the core position. So as that weight's traveling, boom, you're bracing down. Kind of like we do in the box drill. Right, that exhale and you're bracing down, holding that. So, my way of getting in position, until you familiarize yourself with where you should be stationed, I use 1 foot length away, and then 1 foot length widthwise, and then I just make a nice little pyramid, okay? And that puts me in the prime position, so when I pull my hips back, I have to reach for that kettlebell. And when I tip it forward, my lats are engaged now. Okay, so now I'm gonna hike that up close to the zipper, and then proceed with my swings. This is a no. This is a yeah. Okay, that kettlebell should only come here, unless you're doing an American swing. And therefore, you're bringing it up, pull, kind of like we did yesterday with the hang clean, and then you're punching it up. But you still, parking it nicely, and you still need to maintain that nice core position. Make sense? Mm-hmm. Cool. So that's what I think we can do. I figure we can do for Thanksgiving. Grab some weights, and I'll get the timer again. Every 2, stop, and work on that breathing. 1, 2. We're gonna do it every minute on the minute. You're gonna do, let's see, 6 reps of front squats. So applying all the things that you just did. Hips should be plenty of loosened up right now. I know your heart rate's, in a good space to proceed with more work because we did a lot of it so far, but it's gonna be every minute on the minute front squat. So holding the weights up here on the top of your shoulders, whatever you got, goblet, dumbbells, whatever works. But we're gonna do a 1, 2, 3, 4 seconds on the way down, fast on the way up. Think about pulling those hips back, pressing through all 4 corners of your feet, and then slamming back up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, up, and get those hips engaged, get those hips forward, squeezing your glutes. Make sense? Easy breezy, every minute on the minute. 6 reps with a 3 to 4 second negative, 4 rounds. Let's go.